Some things are too good to be true and just are not made to last. Spider-Guy in the MCU falls well within that category. Why didn't it work? What will we do without him there? Are we finally going to get to see that real life Into the Spider-Verse with Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland that the internet wants so much? Or will Sony see that sometimes it is better to have your big brother with you on the playground? Well, that's what we want to talk about this week on the Free Play Podcast.
You are listening to the Free Play Podcast with Bubba Stallcup, Matt Warmbier, and Kate Katawaki, part of the Love Thy Nerd podcast network.
What's up, nerds? Matt Warmbier here from Love Thy Nerd. I'm your chief outreach nerd at Love Thy Nerd. I'm going to see how many times I can say Love Thy Nerd in this sentence. And you're listening to the Free Play Podcast. It's part of the Love Thy Nerd podcast network. And join with me is our chief social media nerd, Kate Katawaki.
Hello.
Say hello, Kate.
Hello, Kate.
You did it. There you go. And not joined with us this week is our blessed Bubby, because
Bless his heart.
He just has lots going on in his life, and he's trying to get stuff done. Schedules have changed for him, and life is becoming a little overwhelming. But there's hope here in the next 2 weeks that things are going to kind of balance out, and he'll have even more time than he had before for LTN, whatnot.
Fingers crossed for him.
But we miss him. We've had a really, well, you've had a sad few weeks.
Yeah,
We've all had a very busy few weeks.
definitely.
And I feel like it's just been a little bit overwhelming for all of us, and being able to get on the same schedule and get things done. But yeah, Kate, you want to talk a little bit about what's going on with you?
Yeah, and I would agree that, yeah, it's been a interesting couple weeks for all of us. That's why there haven't been a couple episodes, so sorry.
No, we had one last week.
No, but
Bub and I had one last week.
before that.
Yeah,
there was a
yeah.
couple. It's fine. Yeah, so my grandma passed away like 2 weeks ago today, which is a Monday. And yes, it was very sad, but she died exactly how she would have wanted to. You know, just
Yeah.
old in her sleep. We had been there celebrating her 86th birthday a couple of days before. So she was stoked about that. And yeah, it was still like weird though, but I mean,
It is
just
weird.
not expecting it. I mean, I know she was old,
You
but
just never know.
Yeah.
And it just gets you thinking about, I mean, really any of us could go in any time. So we took a real deep, dark turn here. Not
exactly
dark,
though, because that's what I'm
deep
thinking
turn.
about. Like I came home and I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's so many other people in the family that are gonna die,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah,
is
it's
sad. But
it's sad.
you know, that's just where my brain went. And then, you know, my grandma was 100% Filipino, straight from the Philippines. So there's a lot of stuff that's been happening that I don't fully understand. Like,
you want to give an example?
yeah, my dad sent me a picture the other day of some relatives had come over and they had put out a bowl of uncooked rice with an egg in it. Like a whole egg, not a cracked open egg, just sitting on top of the rice, and left it there. And I'm like, what is that? First of all, that's an egg for my chickens. So I'm like, they laid it and now it's just sitting there. You're not going to eat it or what?
Mm.
I Googled, couldn't find anything as to why that would be there. Then my aunt tells me the egg is there because it's going to help my grandma get to heaven. And if I check the egg in a couple days, it will be lighter because it has taken her there.
Did you check it?
I haven't been there to check it yet, but
Okay.
I mean, obviously there's a couple questions I have about that, but
Yeah, I'd never heard that before.
I've never heard that before either. They're just
Well, let us know.
superstitious stuff. So
Yeah.
I will be there on Wednesday, and the first thing I will do is check the egg, obviously.
Yeah, let us know straight away.
Yeah.
Inquiring minds need to know.
I will
Well,
post
you said
an update as to how much the egg feels heavier or lighter.
You said the rice was uncooked?
The rice was uncooked. Not sure.
Okay.
I still don't know the role of the rice. And then, of course, there's a plate there of food for my grandma, a cup of water, in case she's hungry. And I'm like, this is their, like, the cultural. I just don't understand.
Right.
I'm not saying it's wrong to put an uncooked rice in a bowl and put an egg. I just personally don't understand is all.
Well, if we find out more, let us know.
We'll find out more. Oh, I have so many questions.
Better write some of these down just in case.
Just in case it's true, like.
Well, just in case you forget to ask.
Oh, I'm almost 100% sure I will not forget because it's just curious. I know, like, that the culture is very, like, superstitious of all this stuff, but now stuff's coming out like this, the egg and the rice and the food for grandma to suck the flavor out of. I'm like, I don't know if she likes that type of cookie. There was a cookie in there and I'm like, grandma likes pudding. So I don't know. It's just very interesting how things come out. My grandma was not just my grandma. She was like the matriarch of a handful of different families. So a ton of people called her grandma or auntie or whatever. But really, she has 4 blood grandkids and I'm the oldest. So
you're next in line.
I guess I'm next in line to.
You're the matriarch now.
I am now the matriarch. So everyone will kiss the ring and bend the knee. It'll be fine.
Bend the knee, yeah. Speaking of kissing the ring, what have you been playing?
And yes, just to clarify, yes, I am sad about my grandma. And why am I laughing at the superstition? Because I don't understand it and just weird stuff's happening. And it's also very, very, very Catholic, and I know absolutely nothing. So there was this prayer that you're supposed to pray, I guess, for 9 days after the person dies. And none of us knew to do that because we're not Catholic. So relatives like, have you been praying the novena? And I'm like, is that a cousin?
No, I haven't.
Because it sounds like a Filipino name. Like, I thought it was a cousin. And they're like, you haven't been praying? I'm like, oh.
No one reminded me.
No one reminded me, so I'm really sorry. But anyways, I've been playing.
Speaking of novena,
my cousin, I've been playing. I finished up my playthrough of Dragon Age Inquisition that I've been working on.
How long is this game?
No, it's a normal RPG. It's not as long as Red Dead Redemption.
I just need to know how many hours.
Well, I've played it all the way through 4 times, so if you add it all up, multiple hundreds, couple hundreds.
Like, what is it, 50 per playthrough?
Probably 50, I would say, is a safe bet. And
where would you rate this on the soap opera scale? Like more like General Hospital?
Depends how you play it.
Okay.
It really depends is the amount of soap opera-esque. But I like to play as a elf mage. Although maybe my next time I play it, I'll play a human mage.
Maybe I just need to play this game. I haven't played it.
It's, well, like we've said before, it's a girl's game, so.
I know. I wasn't going to say it again. You said it. It is a game that all people can play.
It is. I just think girls play it more. I don't know. The first time I played through it, I wasn't understanding this type of RPG, so I missed out on a lot of stuff and like loyalty missions. So somebody died who shouldn't have died and just drama. So then that meant I had to play it again, obviously.
Right. How many times are you going to play through it before you're sick of it?
I don't foresee that happening. I haven't even played through all the DLC.
Ever?
I've played 1 DLC and there's still like 2 more.
What is wrong with you?
Well, that's exactly what I thought. So I bought the other 2 just to, and I plan on playing through that. But I instead started a new game on Mass Effect Andromeda.
Okay.
Which I played when it first came out and I haven't touched it since.
Because of all the stuff that happened.
For what?
Wasn't that the game that all like the graphics were awful?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody complained about it. And at first I was like, why did people like trash this game? Then I remember.
And then you found out.
Well, the whole thing is so like errands. It's space errand simulator and like friendship builder. Now Matt is putting on a cowboy hat.
It was just sitting next to me.
I'm just.
I'm having
I haven't
played that one either.
I'm having fun, but it's like it's a little. I don't know. I get
Hey,
why
if you don't-
I get why people weren't 100% stoked on it, but it's fun for me. And like Dragon Age Inquisition, I haven't played this in a while, so I kind of forgot some stuff, and it's still fun.
And never again. You'll remember it always.
I will remember it always. And I play as this playthrough. I'm playing as the male writer twin, and I'm playing as a sarcastic, choosing more like sarcastic, but like also emotional choices. And it's the writing's funny. This game has one of my favorite missions of any game ever. This game does. The one that everybody trashed.
Do you want to spoil it?
Yes, it's fine.
Okay, go ahead. Let's hear it.
It's a loyalty mission for one of your crew members, Liam, and just the way the writing of it is so good. The gameplay is so good. They do this thing where the ship changes gravity and it completely changes up the space that you're playing in, and it's just really clever. And I like that. I made Steven watch me play it, and he thought it was funny.
When's the last time he played a video game?
Years. I have no idea.
You should play.
He's maybe played Mario Kart. That was probably the last thing.
I was going to actually guess Mario Kart.
That was the last thing, and he didn't like it. But
not realistic enough?
I guess not. But you know what? That's fine.
Okay.
Now I get to play the games, and I don't have to share. So.
He gets to watch. Exactly.
Yeah. So
Take that, Steven.
What have you been playing?
We went camping last week.
I saw that on the Instagrams.
I brought a giant bag of games thinking there will be plenty of time to play some games. We have a pop-up camper. There's a table that like becomes a bed, but it also pops up to a table with benches, normal pop-up camper stuff. So like we can play here. I'm not going to bring giant games. So we actually can play. And I never opened that bag one time.
Wow. That's surprising.
I know. I'm a little angry about it. Like every day I was like, all right, tomorrow we are playing a game. Come hell or high water. And we didn't do it.
So what did you do instead though?
We went to Lake Michigan. We did camping stuff. I don't know. We explored. We went up to Sleeping Bear Sand Dunes, which is a national park. Super giant sand dunes that you can trek up or run down. Yeah, I don't know. Hung out. Like we just kind of didn't do anything, and it was great. But now I'm like coming back from that, and I'm just like, I don't want to do anything anymore. I just want to like vacation mode. Like I need like a vacation from the vacation. Like not that the vacation was bad, but like I just need to like. I even like slept enough. Like we'd go to sleep at like 10:30 and wake up at 8:30. That's more sleep than I get in a combination of 2 days usually. Wow. So then coming back and I've like already opened 3 days since being back, and I'm just kind of like, I'm spent, and I want to sleep, and I don't want to do much of anything. But I got to get back in the swing of things and get rolling here. There's lots to do in life.
Lots of games to play.
And I did go to a game night this last Saturday after we got back, and I played Terror Below. I played Dice Throne, and I played Fire Tower, which I hadn't played before, which is a lot of fun. You're trying to spread fires. Bubba's talked about this game. Trying to spread fires to other people's fire towers and not your own. There's a whole like, wind element, and where you can place based on how the wind is blowing. You can change things up. So it was a lot of fun, and I don't know. It was good to be able to sit down and actually play games after a week of not playing anything.
Maybe we should play that game here because fire season is approaching.
Oh, no. Already? We just had one last year.
I know. We need to get some practice in and get some...
Do you water your lawn?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I'm out in the boonies, though. I'm not going to get burned down.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't live in the hillside like my grandparents.
Right. Maybe they should be watering their lawn.
They definitely should be clearing things out. My grandpa has a bunch of like, I don't know, trees.
Brush.
There's like an orchard that like comes up to their back of their house, but it all got burned down in the last fire. So maybe he should, I don't know, just clear things out now.
Fire guard.
I'll call him after this and let him know.
Okay. Yeah. And let us know too.
Yeah.
So that's all I've been really playing. I'm hoping to play more games this week. We're gonna have some people over on Saturday to play some games. It's just, like I said, busy few weeks, busy few months, busy few lives.
Yeah. I feel that. Busy few lives.
So why don't we just jump into our topic for today?
Yes.
Because I want to talk about Spider-Man. I wanted to talk about Star Wars a little bit, but I think Spider-Man is probably a more lasting. I don't know. Star Wars is also kind of lasting, but Spider-Man's kind of hot.
He's the hotness, sort of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, he was.
He was. So what the situation is, for some of you who might not know what this is about, Spider-Man is not part of the MCU anymore. This just in. My question is, why and how can you just do that? So that's what we're going to dig into right now.
I'm ready.
It's sad. All right. So the root of the issue is that Disney and Sony failed to reach a deal on the new films because they were going to co-finance the whole franchise after Far From Home did so good. And they could not reach an agreement. So then they were like, all right, you can keep Spider-Man, Sony, and he's not in the MCU anymore. Goodbye.
Boom, take that. We have Mickey.
I guess, yeah. So it's just like, how can you... Well, here's how you can do it, is that Disney holds the merchandising rights. So they're going to make money off Spider-Man regardless. But Sony is the one who holds the screen rights. So technically, Sony can make Spider-Man movies without Disney. Disney can't make Spider-Man movies without Sony. But they wanted a cut, obviously, because if they were both going to work together to get the movie out, and they couldn't come to an agreement about it, which makes sense because Disney, they don't budge on stuff.
No, they don't. I was honestly surprised that Spider-Man even was allowed to come and play with the Disney bros.
Come and play with the Avengers.
Yeah, but I don't know. He did, and I'm glad that he did. I thought it was going to be longer than this. I wish that they could have come to some agreement, but we're not there.
I know, but then I do think that if Sony changed their mind or if they release a movie that's just their own and it sucks and they were like, oh no, we do need Disney, and they went back, I think that Disney would take them back.
Oh, for sure. With arms wide open.
That's my guess.
Yeah. It's sad that I don't want to spoil the latest movie, but you leave it in a spot where you're not really sure what's going to happen next. And you needed more movies to kind of figure that out. So I wonder if Sony will take the last 5 appearances of Spider-Man into account with whatever they put out next. Oh, that was a real rough time with whatever just happened back there and people died, but now we're moving on. My mentor died. Or if they're going to go the whole Uncle Ben route with it. Or if they don't even mention it.
Yeah. I don't know either. And it's
weird.
the Far From Home was Sony's highest grossing film of all time.
Right.
$1.1 billion hairs.
Yeah, I asked to borrow some. They told me borrowing somebody else's money.
Get wrecked.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, because the Disney doesn't actually own the Hulk either in the movies. Universal owns Hulk. So I wonder if Universal's thinking hey, if they could do it, maybe we can take the Hulk out of there. If the Hulk could even, do well enough in his own movie. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about
Spider-Man.
that. Yeah, he's not Spider-Man. I think that Spider-Man is a more beloved character, especially Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
That's true. He does well.
It's just such a weird situation. It's really, you guys couldn't agree on something to keep a good thing a good thing? But it's at the same time, I'm not surprised. That's it's such a Disney thing to not budge.
Yeah.
That's
it all seemed really sudden too.
Yeah,
I mean,
it did.
They probably were talking about it before, and it all just kind of came out. But it seemed like once there was a rumor, it was already it was over, and you're like, well, there's that. There's no hope. And there were some videos released from Marvel Studios, right? With what's his name? Kevin Feige. How do you say his name?
I have no idea. I was thinking Phage.
Well,
I don't
Mr.
know.
Kevin.
Mr. Kevin. Just
F.
call him Mr. Kevin.
Mr. Kevin F. Did a video. He's the president of Marvel Studios, did a video with Tom Holland, just how Spider-Man was great and he was so awesome, and it was great to have him while we had him. And
That's so sad. Like,
Tom Holland's like, yeah, I did the thing and it was great to do those movies, but I'm still going to be Spider-Man for some time. And he didn't really have much more to say. I mean, they probably don't know very much more.
Probably
than that.
not, or can't say. And it's like, what else is there to say? Be like, bro, you made me do this video with you. I don't want to be here. You're lame.
Yeah, I know. He wants to. The only thing Tom Holland wants to do besides be Spider-Man is spoil the movies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you don't have a spoiler for him, he doesn't want to do the interview.
Yeah. And
So-
like, here's a quote from Mr. Kevin F. He said about the situation at hand. He said, I'm feeling about Spider-Man gratitude and joy. We got to make 5 films within the MCU with Spider-Man, 2 standalone films, and 3 with the Avengers. It was a dream that I never thought would happen. It was never...
Just the facts here, ma'am. Just nothing but the facts.
It was never meant to last forever. It's like, what? But we knew there was a finite amount of time that we'd be able to do this, and we told the story we wanted to tell, and I'll always be thankful for that. My question is, it is meant to last forever because Spider-Man is in the MCU.
Well, he's not in the MCU is the thing. He's just on retainer, just borrowed for a little while.
I just, it's just
I
so
think-
odd. Like, why?
My thought was, why make Spider-Man so crucial in? Okay, he wasn't like he was a crucial character necessarily in Endgame. Like it was sad for him.
Yeah, it was.
But why put so much stock? Like they were moving forward with Spider-Man in the MCU, like to kind of go into phase 4. It seemed like,
Yes.
and now they're not. Just kidding. Work it out yourselves. We're going to give you Black Widow here. Yeah. And then Tom Holland said, basically, we've made 5 great movies. It's been 5 amazing years. I've had the time of my life. Who knows what the future holds? But all I know is that I'm going to continue playing Spider-Man and having the time of my life. It's going to be so fun, however we choose to do it.
All right. Well, clearly someone else wrote that, and
No doubt. No doubt.
It's like so positive that it's like fake sounding positive.
Yeah.
He's probably dying on the inside as he's saying this.
Like, but I'm my buddies.
But
No,
it's,
his buddies
it's
are-
gonna be so fun.
I guess it would be hard. They could do it, I'm sure, but it would be hard to just kind of like have a movie that kind of cut ties. I don't know. Like,
It would be weird after all
It'd
this
be
time,
weird.
like enmeshing him in the universe and in those movies and having him be a part of it and this and this and this. And all of a sudden it's like completely separate. Like, oh, just kidding. We don't know that. We reject that universe. I don't know.
it doesn't exist.
I mean, the whole point of, well, not the whole point, but like one big thing of his success as Spider-Man was because Disney put him in those movies that aren't distributed
Yes.
by Sony that they couldn't have done.
Right.
So they
Right.
did,
They
they
definitely
like,
built him up.
yeah. And then when they were like, hey, we want a bigger cut because this, and then a deal didn't happen.
No, Disney didn't get any money from Far From Home, right? Or did they? They probably did.
They probably did because it was still in there, but then, and I get why Sony would be like, no, we're not going to give you more money. This is our thing. But at the same time, it's like, bruh, your thing wouldn't be as big as it is without them. So where's the give and take here?
I was reading that technically, because Stan Lee made Spider-Man back in 1962, that Spider-Man should be public domain at this point. Just based on like things have changed over the years.
Yeah.
But when he was made after 50 years, Spider-Man should have become public domain. So they should still be able to use him. I'm sure that they've, renewed, or I don't know, the way it was worded in the article was weird, but they were saying that it should be up for grabs for anyone, which would be interesting.
It would be interesting. And it's like, how does Sony even have the rights for this? This could
They
easily
bought
be
it.
solved with a Google, but I'm not doing
No,
that.
you tell me.
I'm asking you the question. So who owned him before? Just Stan Lee? And then they bought him?
Well, a quick look here on the old Google. It says Disney's 1990s lobbying cost them Spider-Man in the MCU. So
Okay, so a previous
lost him.
mistake.
they lost him back in the 90s. But I did hear that the cartoons, the 90s cartoons, will be on Disney Plus, the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. So I don't know.
It just
I
seems
guess-
so weird to let a disagreement rip something out of the MCU and undo the last 5 movies, 5 years, whatever it was they said, because they couldn't reach an agreement. Like,
Yep.
just why?
Well, it looks like Spider-Man won't become public domain until 2057. So they have a few years to kind of wait it out.
Yeah,
Tom Holland will probably still look good by then.
probably.
Old
just
man Spider.
It's just a couple years away.
Yeah, it's totally fine. It's all sad. And when they first announced Spider-Man in the MCU, I was pumped. I thought that reading comics, knowing how great of a character Spider-Man was in the new Avengers series, like he brought a lot to the team that other characters weren't bringing. Like, I mean, he's funny, he's relatable. So taking that out of the big screen is, I don't want to say it's going to hurt Disney that much, because Disney's going to keep on rolling forward. I mean, they announced how many new Disney Plus shows? 3, 4,
A buttload.
She-Hulk, Moon Knight, more stuff.
Yeah. They're counting on it not really affecting them that much.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, there's no way to tell for sure, but then the thing is, okay, say Sony, the next Spider-Man movie that Sony puts out does crazy good. Say it like comes together in all the right ways and is really awesome without Disney and the MCU. That was one of the theories that I was reading on the online, is like, what if that happens? It would create a whole new thing, a whole new force to be reckoned with, basically, because they would have found success without that aspect of it that made everything else a success. And what would that mean for other superheroes?
It could be good. I don't know. It's tough. And I can see why people are kind of happy with Sony for doing it, because Disney already owns so much.
Yeah.
And so many characters that them not having Spider-Man is going to, I don't know. It's good. Like, at what point is it a monopoly?
Yeah.
Of
Which
heroes?
is true.
I don't know.
Just collecting them to collect.
them all. Gotta have them all.
Gotta have them all. I mean,
Gotta have all the Spider-Mans. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. I'm glad this won't affect my next Spider-Man video game that's coming out for PlayStation.
I had that same thought too, because I'm like, oh, I loved that game. I had so much fun, unexpected fun with that game.
Yep.
And we'll get our next one, and it'll be fine because it's Sony.
Into the Spider-Verse was also Sony, is that right? Or something similar to that? Because I know they're already working on the next one of those as well. I don't see it off the top here. Which I think, like, I'm ready for another one of those. That movie was great, and that wasn't Disney.
Yeah, I completely agree. That was a great movie. I actually watched it.
So how do you?
I watched a movie and it was great. Yeah, like Columbia Pictures and Sony Pictures.
Okay.
Did that.
So
that
not
was
Disney.
that could be, no Disney. So that's good news.
Yeah, I mean, and they did well, and they're going to continue to do well. Spider-Man, he kind of had his lull there with the Amazing Spider-Man and Tobey McGuire's Spider-Man 3, but I think he's on the rebound, and I kind of, even though he's not in the MCU, I think he's going to continue to swing high on the wings of eagles, and he's still going to be popular. People will go watch his movies.
Yeah,
they watch, for Pete's sakes, like that Venom movie that came out. There was no Spider-Man in it, and that movie did extremely well.
I guess there is no way that like this would, quote unquote, kill Spider-Man.
No, not after all
because
this time.
He's been
He's always in
around
our
for so
hearts.
long and is a beloved character, and it would just
Yep.
be weird and a shame for them to make all these crappy movies. Everybody be like, Spider-Man's lame now.
Yeah,
The
we
only-
don't want that.
The only cool Spider-Man's on PlayStation.
Always and forever.
I was just
Yeah.
telling somebody the other day about that. Steven's cousin the other day. I was telling him about the Spider-Man game, and he was like, "Is it awesome?" And I said, "I can confidently tell you the answer is yes, and that you
I
should."
can tell you
get
platinum
it.
trophy, yes.
I can tell you platinum trophy, yes. And he's like, "Oh, I need to get a PlayStation."
Oh, he's got a ways to go then.
I know. So
Unless he has expendable income.
yeah, he does. He's a doctor.
Oh, then he'll be fine.
He'll be
then. Yeah,
fine.
make that happen.
I was like, "Get the
Um,
PS4 Pro."
You go ahead and buy another one. I'll give you mine.
Yeah.
We'll trade. That's fine. No problem. Do you think that the next, back to Spider movies here,
Yeah.
do you think the next movie will be a Spider-Man Venom meetup battle? For me, I feel like that's the next logical step. And I know that they had talked about doing a Sinister Six thing. So
That I would agree with that assessment of the situation. That makes the most sense. It's like, yeah, like what is the next step? It would, I mean, just guessing what we're doing right now, guessing it would be that. What else could it be?
or they do a live action Into the Spider-Verse and they bring back all the old actors as Spider-Man.
Okay, now we're on to something.
Okay.
I like
and
this. Okay, so we need to pitch it to Sony. Let me open a new
Yeah.
document.
Well, can you just call him? We can call him right now.
We'll call
I don't
him,
mind.
Put him on
Yeah.
speaker.
Hello, Mr. Kevin F. Wait, wrong company.
Wrong
Sorry.
company. Sorry. Hang up. That would be okay. I like that. Do
I
you
don't
think
know.
that would be a real thing?
Maybe. They probably wouldn't just because the Spider-Verse was already a cartoon. But it could be. I don't know. I'm not sure.
That would be
was
really funny to see that.
They could make a old Toby, like
Good
old man spider.
Toby.
And I don't know, Andrew Garfield could be like the washed up character and Tom Holland could be the spry young thing.
Or they
I don't
could
know.
do a Miles Morales live action.
Yeah, that's true. That
You
would
could
be
do that.
And now that Miles is getting to be a whole lot bigger in
Yeah, see, it's like he's becoming more established and more of a thing. So then what's the next step for that?
Well, I was honestly surprised they didn't do Miles when they brought Spider-Man over, like relaunched him.
Yeah.
I thought it was for sure going to be Miles, and I was kind of shocked that it wasn't. But they did a good job with him into the Spider-Verse. So I don't know. They could totally bring him out.
Maybe it's for the video game.
They could do a Spider-Man.
Men's
Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man was a comic where they met not Miles and Peter, or I'm sorry, Miles and Peter met. I don't know. There's honestly so many Spider-Man stories that they really could go any way. And I think that they probably already had a contingency plan in place for just such an event. Because why wouldn't you? They even said like this is not something that's going to last forever. So they probably had things like, all right, well, we'll do this one, and if it breaks after that, we have these planned. And if we're going to keep going. All right, now if this one doesn't work, we're going to go from here. Who knows?
Yeah, he
I don't
did say that. Both of them said that. I guess Tom Holland didn't really say that in his.
No, he said he loves Spider-Man. I love
Yeah.
Spider-Man. I like turtles.
So the future for Spider-Man will be different, but it will be equally as awesome and amazing, and we'll find new ways to make it cooler, even cooler. Okay,
Cool, bro.
reassure yourself and the rest of us.
But we would love to hear what you all think about this. Is this the right move for Sony? Is this a bonehead move for Disney? Is this a bonehead move for Sony? We'd love to know what you all think. And who do you think's next? Are we going to lose Hulk? Are we going to lose obscure character? I don't know. That belongs to somewhere else. I mean, now Disney has X-Men and Fantastic Four. It's only a matter of time before they start putting them in the MCU. I heard after Phase 4 is when they're aiming for with X-Men, which I'm really pumped about because they need new stuff. But yeah, we'd love for you guys to continue this conversation in the comments below. Yeah, I think the Spider-Man future still looks bright.
I want it to be bright.
The MCU. But yeah, I think, unless Kate has any other lingering thoughts here, that'll do it for episode 64. You wanna take us out here, Kate?
Yeah, that'll do it for episode 64 of the Free Play Podcast. Be sure to check us out on everywhere you can find a podcast, like iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and the YouTubes. Also radio.com. Anywhere else you could think of, that podcast can be found. And if you can't find us where you listen to podcasts, let Bubba know.
He really, really, really needs to know.
He really needs to know. So if you know of a place that we're not there and you don't tell Bubba, then you're really doing a disservice to this podcast.
That's Bubba at lovethynerd.com.
Yeah, Bubba at lovethynerd.com.
His phone number is... Hold on, let me go.
Let me look it up. His phone number is 911, so please call that number if you find the Free Play Podcast is not where you want it to be. And also, if you're not a part of our Love Thy Nerd Facebook community, what are you doing? You need to join the community because it's a blast. Make it one of your life goals and change
Your friends are there already. Your friends are waiting for you.
Yeah, your friends are waiting for you even if you don't know who they are yet. They're there. Also, you can find us on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Love Thy Nerd. So
that's true.
It is true. Head over there. I run the social medias. If you see something you don't like and you have a complaint about my job, too bad. Throw it in the trash.
Call 911 and tell them.
Call 911. And be sure to follow the Free Play Podcast on Twitter at Free Play Podcast. And I will post something on there when I remember.
Yep. Also, I will add that on Fridays, Bubba and I do Beard Bros, where we talk about games, we review game, we chat about the ins and outs of all the game. And then on Saturday, my wife and I, Erin, play the game and give away a copy. The show is called Co-optional. That's around 9 p.m. Saturday evening, and Beard Bros is around 5 p.m. Fridays. So we'd love for you to come and hang out and tell us what you think of those games. Just have a conversation in the comments.
Yes, it's on Facebook.
Make fun of people.
Did you say that already? Sorry.
I didn't.
Oh.
But if you don't get a chance to watch it live, you can always check it out later on Facebook. And we also post mostly on our YouTube thing. And if you aren't following us on YouTube, just do it because we're really cool. Just follow us on all the things. Just type in Love Thy Nerd in your ear and just do it.
Just rather be safe than sorry. Follow everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
And I think that's it.
I agree.
This episode is fairly short.
Hey, that's okay. Bubba talks most of the time. So you and I, we've done the same amount of talking as we normally do.
Yes.
Bubba talks more.
We just get straight to the point. Bubba just drags things out.
Yeah, we just don't beat around the bush.
Yeah, no.
We don't do that. Right to the spider heart.
Right to the spider heart. And yeah. All right. That's it. I'm Bubba Stallcup.
I'm Matt Warmbier.
And I'm Kate Katawaki. And for our cut man, Jonathan Clausen, but he's not cutting it this week because he's at a work convention thing. So forget about Clausen this week. We'll catch you next week. And remember, Jesus loves you, nerd.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
You have been listening to the Free Play Podcast with Bubba Stallcup, Matt Warmbier, and Kate Katawaki, part of the Love Thy Nerd Podcast Network. Be sure to rate and review the show and share on all the social media.